The Grand Forum floated in the black emptiness around the star called Caelus Prime. It was shaped like a huge silver ring, bigger than most small moons. Inside this ring lived the peace of 317 different species. For almost 400 years, they came here to talk instead of fight. Trade rules, border problems, who could take what resources, even small wars, all of it was decided here. No guns or bombs were allowed in the Great Debating Hall. No single species could give orders. Everything needed a big agreement or a very strong vote. The station had wide halls with soft blue light. Delegates from every kind of world walked or floated or crawled to their seats. There were tall insect-like beings from the Sealath Concord, short furry traders from the Khazari worlds, glowing jelly creatures from the Vrenthul seas, and many more. They all spoke through small boxes that turned their clicks, whistles, and growls into words everyone could understand. Humans had joined only 80 years ago. They were the newest ones and also the most numerous. Their section in the debating hall had 73 seats, more than any other single species. At first, the older races watched them carefully. Humans were loud sometimes, always asking questions, always building things too fast. But soon, people noticed something strange. The humans almost never started big fights or big plans. Instead, they stopped the worst ideas from other species. When the Khazari wanted to take a whole sector of mining asteroids that belonged to weaker races, the humans said no. When the Waiktar tried to change the rules so big fleets could cross neutral space without asking, the humans said no. When the Selath wanted to tax every small ship that passed their stars, the humans said no again. They did it calmly, with facts and numbers, never shouting. Many aliens started to call them the break, the thing that kept the galaxy from crashing too fast. The humans smiled when they heard the name. They did not mind. On the day it all changed, the forum was full. Every seat was taken. The topic was serious. The Iktar Dominion had used plasma bombs on a small neutral mining colony called Teth 9. The colony had no weapons. It had families, schools, gardens under glass domes. The Yiktar said the miners were stealing rare crystals. Everyone knew it was a lie. They wanted the crystals and the land. The debate lasted 3 days. Species after species spoke. Some wanted strong punishment, block all Yiktar trade, freeze their money in the Galactic Bank, send warships to their borders. Others said punishment would start a bigger war. The Yiktar delegates sat in their red chairs and smiled with sharp teeth. They thought they could win. Finally, it was time for the humans to speak. Everyone looked at their section. Ambassador Elena Vasquez stood up. She was not tall. Her hair was dark and tied back simply. She wore the plain gray uniform all human delegates used. No medals, no bright colors. She walked to the central podium without hurry. The hall became very quiet. She looked around the chamber once. Then she spoke in a clear, normal voice. "The humans will not vote for these sanctions," she said. A soft sound moved through the room. Surprise, confusion, worry. She continued, "These sanctions are only theater. Everyone here knows the Yiktar will break them the same way they broke the last ones, and the ones before that. Words on a screen will not stop them. We will not pretend that words are enough." Now the sound was louder. Whispers, translators working fast. The Yiktar delegates looked happy at first. Then they saw her face. It was calm. Too calm. Elena Vasquez took one small breath. "Because of this," she said, "humanity is leaving the forum. We will no longer take part in this body." The silence was sudden and deep. It felt like someone turned off the air. No one moved. Elena turned. She walked toward the wide doors at the back of the human section. Behind her, all 73 human delegates stood up at the same moment. No one spoke. No one looked back. They followed her in perfect lines, footsteps loud on the shiny metal floor. The doors opened. They walked through. The doors closed with a soft hiss. Inside the chamber, No one spoke for almost 2 minutes. Then the chaos started. Delegates shouted at each other. Translators broke trying to keep up. The Yiktar laughed out loud. The Khazari looked at each other with wide eyes. The Selath lights flickered fast, sign of panic. The small jelly creatures from Vrenthul floated higher, as if they wanted to hide near the ceiling. Security drones moved around the room, recording everything. The images went live to every world in the connected systems. Billions of beings watched on screens, in ships, in stations. They saw the empty human seats. They saw the closed doors. They saw the moment the break disappeared. No one knew what to do next. Outside the station, human ships started to move. There were 47 of them in the parking zone. Cargo haulers, science vessels, 2 fast diplomatic cutters, and 1 old but strong battlecruiser called Endurance. They did not wait for clearance. They simply turned their engines on and pulled away from the docking clamps. The station control tried to send messages. No answer came. The ships formed a tight group and jumped to faster-than-light speed. The space around Kalis Prime looked strangely empty without them. On the galactic news channels, the headlines burned bright. Humans leave the forum. Unexplained walkout shocks assembly. Has the break been removed? In bars on distant worlds, aliens looked at each other. Some laughed nervously. Some whispered old stories about humans, how they fought wars that should have destroyed them, how they kept going when others would stop, how they smiled while doing the most dangerous things. In the Yiktar command ships, officers raised glasses of strong liquor. The humans ran, one captain said. They finally showed fear. But in private rooms, older Yiktar commanders did not drink. They stared at the star maps and said nothing. They remembered the stories too. Back inside the forum, the debate tried to continue. The chairman, a tall bird-like creature from the old Neutral League, called for order. His voice shook a little. "We will now vote on the sanctions without the human delegation," he said. But the vote never happened that day. Too many delegates were already sending urgent messages home. Too many were thinking the same thought. If the humans were gone, who would stop the next person from taking too much? The galaxy had lived with a safety line for a long time. That line was human caution, human numbers, human weapons kept hidden, but always there. Now the line was cut, and everyone felt the sudden drop. The first small panic started in the trading markets. Prices jumped, ships changed routes, fleets moved closer to home stars, just in case. No one attacked yet, no one dared to be first, but they all knew something had changed forever. The forum was still there, the ring still turned, the lights still glowed, but the humans were gone, and the galaxy suddenly felt much colder. The first hours after the humans left felt strange and quiet. The Grand Forum kept turning slowly around Kalis Prime. Lights stayed on. Cleaning drones moved through empty halls. But inside the debating chamber, the air felt thick. Delegates sat in their seats and stared at the empty human section. 73 chairs stood like silent holes in the room. No one wanted to speak first. Then the messages started. Every species sent urgent signals home. Ambassadors whispered into private comms. Traders checked bank accounts. Fleet commanders asked for new orders. The galactic nets exploded with news. Headlines flashed across every screen in 100 languages. Humans abandon forum, walkout unexplained, has peace ended. Most aliens expected the humans to come back soon. They thought it was a protest, a show of anger, a way to force better talks. Everyone had seen humans get stubborn before. They always returned to the table after a few days. This time felt different. The Yiktar Dominion moved first. Their emperor appeared on every major channel. He stood on the bridge of his flagship, red scales shining under strong lights. He laughed. "The humans have run away," he said. They fear real strength. The Forum is now free of their weak words. We will take what is ours. That same day, Yiktar ships crossed into neutral zones. They moved faster than normal. Scouts reported 3 full battle groups heading toward the rich mineral belt called the Orion Vale. The Vale belonged to no one, but many small colonies lived there. Everyone knew the Yiktar wanted those worlds. The Khazari did not wait long either. Their furry leaders met in secret. They decided to send 3 heavy fleets closer to the border worlds they had argued about for years. The move was called defensive positioning. The Khazari wanted to be ready if fighting started. The Vrenthul, who usually stayed in their deep oceans, recalled every trading ship. Their glowing jelly bodies floated nervously in command tanks. They had always trusted the Forum to keep trade safe. Now they pulled back. Smaller species watched in fear. The quiet ones, who never spoke much in debates, sent private pleas to the bigger powers. Please do not let war come, their messages said. No one answered. 3 days passed, then the first blood came. A Yiktar heavy cruiser named Claw of Victory patrolled near the edge of the Orion Vale. Its sensors found a human freighter drifting in open space. The ship was old, boxy, registered as Dawn Carrier. It carried titanium ingots, nothing special, nothing dangerous. The Yiktar captain saw an easy target. He thought the humans had left the galaxy weak. He gave the order to fire a warning shot across the bow. The freighter did not run. It did not send distress calls. It turned slowly. Then it fired back. No one expected that. The human ship had no visible weapons at first. Then ports opened on its sides. Thin beams of blue light stabbed out. They were not normal lasers. They cut clean through the Yiktar cruiser's shields like paper. The next shots hit engines and weapon batteries. In less than 90 seconds, the Claw of Victory broke apart. Fire bloomed in the vacuum. Pieces spun away. The cruiser became a cloud of hot gas and twisted metal. The human freighter stayed still for a moment. Then it jumped away. No message, no victory shout, just gone. The battle recording leaked fast. Someone on a nearby mining station captured it. Within hours, the footage spread across the nets. Billions watched. They saw the calm way the freighter moved. They saw the precise, cold shots. No anger, just work that needed doing. Panic grew. The Yiktar Emperor tried to call it an accident. A misunderstanding, he said in a new broadcast. The human ship was in restricted space. Our forces acted in self-defense. Few believed him. The footage showed the truth. Other species started to check their old records. They remembered things they had ignored before. Human ships always carried extra armor. Human freighters had hidden mounts for weapons. Human colonies built underground shelters without explaining why. Everyone had thought it was normal caution. Now it looked like preparation. The Forum tried to meet again. The chairman called an emergency session. Only half the delegates came. Many seats stayed empty. The ones who showed up spoke in low voices. They asked questions no one could answer. Where are the humans now? Will they return? What if they do not? No one knew. Their embassy, on Kalis Prime, closed its doors. The building stood dark. No lights, no guards. Inside, furniture stayed exactly as it was. Papers on desks, half-finished cups of coffee. It looked like everyone left in a hurry, but calmly. Human ships in neutral ports undocked without warning. They paid their fees through automatic transfer, then vanished into jump space. No goodbyes, no explanations. Traders who dealt with humans found their contracts suddenly canceled. Payments arrived on time, but no new orders came. Supply lines that depended on human goods started to break. Prices rose. Some worlds faced shortages. The terror was slow at first. It crept in like cold air through a crack. People remembered old stories, how humans fought on their own world for centuries, how they survived plagues, wars, climate collapse, how they reached the stars when others thought it impossible, how they kept growing when the galaxy told them to slow down. Now those same humans had walked away, and they had not yelled, they had not threatened, they had simply left. In the Yiktar command centers, officers argued. Some wanted to push forward faster, others wanted to wait. The older ones looked at star maps and spoke quietly. They did not run because they are weak, one admiral said. They left because they no longer need rules. The Khazari moved their fleets a little closer to human space, just to test. No attack, just closer. They waited for a reaction. Nothing came. The Vrenthal sent a small science ship toward the human border. It carried a polite message asking for talks. The ship waited at the edge of human space for 3 days. No answer. The ship returned empty-handed. The galaxy waited for the humans to speak, to explain, to threaten, to bargain. They stayed silent. And in that silence, fear grew roots. Because the humans were not hiding. They were choosing where to be seen next. And no one knew what they would do when they finally chose. The empty human seats in the forum started to feel like a warning. Not a warning from the past, a warning of what was coming. Weeks turned into months. The Grand Forum tried to keep working. The silver ring still spun around Kalis Prime. Lights stayed bright. Drones cleaned the floors. But the chamber felt smaller every day. Delegates came less often. Many seats stayed empty. When sessions started, voices sounded thin and unsure. The chairman, a tall bird-like creature with faded feathers, kept calling for order. Few listened. Without the humans, the old rules broke fast. The Selath Concord moved first. Their glowing delegates stood up in a half-empty hall. They asked for a new rule, permanent veto power for the 5 biggest species. The Selath would be one of them. They said it would bring stability. Everyone knew it was a power grab. In the past, the humans would have spoken against it. They would have listed facts, shown numbers, asked quiet questions until the idea died. Now no one blocked it. Some smaller species voted yes because they were afraid to say no. Others stayed away. The chairman announced the result in a tired voice. The Selath lights flashed bright with victory, but no one cheered. The room felt colder. 2 days later, the Khazari crossed a border they had respected for decades. Their fleets landed troops on a small allied system called Lear 4. The Khazari said they were protecting trade lanes from pirates. The system had no pirates. Everyone knew the Khazari wanted the rare gas mines there. No one sent warships to stop them. No one even sent a strong protest. The forum voted to observe the situation. That was all. The Yiktar grew bolder. They sent bombers to 2 more worlds. One was a farming planet with green fields and slow rivers. Families lived there for generations. The other was a research station studying old alien ruins. Both places burned. The Yiktar called it justice for past wrongs. The galaxy watched the fire on their screens. Smoke rose into space. No rescue fleets came. Species that hated each other for centuries started to settle old scores. A border dispute between 2 minor races turned into missile strikes. A trade argument between 3 systems became a blockade. Fleets moved without asking the forum. Weapons fired without warning. The old habit of talking first disappeared. And through all of it, the humans stayed silent. Their worlds went dark on the galactic nets. No news came out. No ships arrived at neutral stations. No messages answered the thousands of pleas sent to human embassies. Some aliens tried to visit human space. Scout ships approached the edge. They found warning beacons they had never seen before. The beacons said one thing in every language. Do not cross. Final warning. The scouts turned back. Rumors grew like weeds. Traders whispered in dark bars. Miners told stories in zero-gravity camps. Everyone had a different version. Some said human shipyards worked day and night. Huge new ships rose from dry docks, longer, darker, with shapes no one recognized. Others said entire fleets had vanished into the galactic rim. That empty region was called the Hollow. Stars were few there. Ships that went in rarely came back. People said the humans were hiding there, waiting. Captured transmissions leaked sometimes, short bursts of human voices, calm, professional. Words like contingency perimeters and final deterrence thresholds. No one knew what they meant, but the words sounded heavy. The Yiktar Emperor decided to test the silence. He made a galaxy-wide broadcast. He stood on a balcony above his capital city. Towers of black stone rose behind him. Red banners moved in the wind. He laughed loud. "The humans are gone," he said. "They ran when we showed strength. They hide like cowards. The galaxy belongs to the bold now." He ended with a smile full of sharp teeth. The broadcast cut off. 2 days later, every military base in the Yiktar Perseus Arm received the same message. It came on a tight beam channel no one could trace. The message was short, one line in perfect Yiktar script. "We are coming." No name, no rank, no demands, just those 3 words. The Emperor laughed again on live feed. He called it a joke, a weak threat from scared people. His officers laughed with him, but the laughter sounded forced. That night, long-range sensors on Yiktar worlds picked up something. A shadow at the edge of their space. Too far to identify. Too quiet to be normal. It stayed there for hours. Then it was gone. The next day, the same shadow appeared closer, and closer the day after. No one could catch it. Probes sent to look came back empty, or never came back. The shadow moved like it knew every sensor blind spot. Fear spread wider now. Not just among the Yiktar. The Khazari pulled their invasion troops back a little. The Selafs stopped pushing new rules. Smaller species started building shelters again. Old defenses came online. Ships that had been in storage moved to battle stations. In the forum chamber, delegates met in small groups. They no longer sat in their official seats. They stood in corners. They spoke softly. "We need the humans back," one Vrenthal said. Its glow dimmed low. "We need the break." Another delegate, a small-scaled creature from a desert world, shook its head. "They are not coming back to talk. Not this time." The chairman tried to call full sessions. Quorum failed again and again. The ring station felt too big, too empty. The blue lights looked pale. Outside, the galaxy waited. Traders stopped long hauls. Markets froze. Prices jumped higher. Refugees tried to find new homes. Many were turned away. Everyone watched the same question on every screen. Where are the humans? And deeper inside, another question no one wanted to say out loud. What will they do when they decide to show themselves? Because the silence was not empty. It was heavy. It was patient. It was waiting for the right moment. And when that moment came, the galaxy knew it would not be gentle. The empty human section in the forum was no longer just empty chairs. It was a hole where something used to hold everything together. Now that something was gone, and the pieces started to fall. 6 months had passed since the humans walked out. The grand forum ring around Kalis Prime looked the same from outside. Stars still shone through the wide viewports. Ships still docked in neat rows. But inside, everything felt wrong. The debating chamber stayed mostly dark now. Only a few lights burned for the small groups that still met. Attendance dropped so low that quorum, the minimum number needed to make decisions, failed almost every time. The chairman's voice echoed in the empty hall when he tried to start sessions. Few answered. Delegates who came sat far apart. They spoke in whispers. They kept looking at the human section. The 73 chairs stayed empty. No one sat there anymore. Dust collected on the armrests. Someone once tried to move a chair to fill a gap somewhere else. The chairman stopped them. "Leave it," he said quietly. "It is a reminder." Rumors filled the silence. They spread faster than official news. Traders carried stories from port to port. Miners whispered them in deep tunnels. Everyone had heard something new. One rumor said human shipyards never stopped. Massive docks worked around the clock. New hulls grew longer and darker every week. Shapes no one had seen before. Sharp angles, black coatings that drank light. Scouts who flew near human systems came back with blurry images. The ships looked bigger than anything in the old fleets. Some said they carried weapons that could crack planets if needed. Another rumor spoke of the Galactic Rim. The hollows stretched far out where stars grew thin. Few ships went there on purpose. Those that did often vanished. People said whole human battle groups had jumped into that darkness. No signals came back. No lights showed on sensors. It was like they melted away on purpose. Some said the humans were building something bigger than fleets. Hidden bases, silent stations, places where they could wait forever if they wanted. Others talked about new drives, engines that jumped farther, faster, without leaving traces. No one knew the truth, but the fear felt real. The Yuktar Emperor grew tired of waiting. He wanted to show strength again. He called for another galaxy-wide broadcast. Billions tuned in. He stood in his grand hall. Red lights made his scales look like fresh blood. He spoke with a wide smile. "The humans are finished," he said. "They hide because they know they cannot win. The forum is ours now. The galaxy is ours. Let the cowards stay in their shadows." He laughed. The sound rolled across every screen. His officers laughed too. But in quiet corners of Yuktar ships, older captains did not laugh. They checked their weapons again. They watched the black outside their viewports a little longer. 2 days after the broadcast, something changed. Every major Yuktar military base in the Perseus Arm received the same packet. It arrived on a tight, untraceable beam. No sender ID. No origin trace. The message was one short line in perfect Yuktar script. "We are coming." That was all. Bases went on high alert. Fighters scrambled. Sensors swept every direction. Nothing appeared. Hours passed. Days passed. The message sat in command logs like a cold stone. Then the shadow came back. First it appeared at the edge of Yuktar space. A single contact. Too faint to lock. Too steady to be noise. It drifted closer each day. Probes sent to find it disappeared. Some returned with scrambled data, images of nothing but black. The Emperor ordered more broadcasts. He called the shadow a trick, a hologram, a weak human game. But his voice sounded thinner now. On the 3rd week, the shadow stopped hiding. A single human dreadnought appeared above the Yuktar capital world. No warning jump flash, no approach vector on sensors. It simply was there, hanging in high orbit, silent, motionless, black as space itself. Longer than any ship the Yuktar had built. Its hull drank light. No markings, no lights, no visible weapons ports. Just presence. The planet below froze. Traffic stopped. Ships drifted without orders. People looked up through dome ceilings. The dreadnought blocked part of the sky. It did not fire. It did not speak. It waited. Yuktar defense fleets rushed to intercept. Cruisers and destroyers formed walls. They hailed the ship. No answer. They powered weapons. Still no answer. The dreadnought stayed exactly where it was. Engines cold. Shields invisible. The Emperor watched from his command tower. His claws dug into the chair arms. He ordered a scan. Nothing came back useful. The ship gave no heat signature. No energy leaks. It was like a hole in space, wearing a hull. For 3 full days the dreadnought stayed. No movement, no sound, just waiting. Then on the 4th day, every frequency in known space lit up at once. The message came in every language. Clear, calm, human voice, female, no emotion. The forum was a courtesy. We joined because it suited us. You saw our restraint and called it weakness. You saw our absence and called it fear. We are not afraid. We are not absent. We are done pretending this galaxy can rule itself without consequences. Resume civilized behavior, or we will impose it. The message ended. No signature, no demands for surrender, no list of terms. Just that. The dreadnought above the Yiktar capital stayed one more hour. Then it vanished. No jump flash, no trail. Gone. Panic rippled outward. The Khazari pulled their fleets back from border worlds. The Selith canceled their new veto rules in a quiet vote. Smaller species sent messages to anyone who would listen. We want peace, they said. We always wanted peace. In the forum chamber, the few delegates left gathered in the center. They did not sit in their own sections. They stood together, like survivors after a storm. The chairman spoke first. We must ask them to return, he said. We must beg if we have to. They sent messages. Long messages, polite messages, pleading messages. They offered seats, they offered changes, they offered anything. No reply came. The human embassy on Kalis Prime stayed dark. The doors stayed closed. The dreadnoughts appeared over other worlds too, one above a Khazari fortress, one above a Selath research moon, one above a Yiktar shipyard. Always the same. Silent. Waiting. No shots fired. No bombs dropped. But the waiting was worse. Because the galaxy finally understood something simple and terrible. The humans had not left the forum because they lost. They left because they no longer needed it. They had been the only ones willing to play by the rules. Now, the game was over. And the new rules would come from them alone. The empty chairs in the forum were not empty anymore. They were a promise, a quiet promise that the break was gone, and whatever came next would not be gentle. The dreadnoughts came without sound or warning. One moment the skies above key worlds were clear. The next moment they were not. Human ships appeared in high orbit over the worst offenders. A single massive vessel hung above the Yiktar homeworld. Another waited silently over the Khazari Central Fortress cluster. A third drifted above the Selath primary research nexus. More appeared over shipyards, supply depots, command centers. Always the same pattern. No fleets, no escorts. Just one ship each time. Black, still, impossible to ignore. Planets below stopped moving. Cities froze. Traffic halted in the streets. People stepped outside and looked up. The ships blocked part of the sun or the stars. Their shadows fell long across domes and towers. No weapons showed. No engines glowed. They simply existed there, patient as stone. No one fired first. Defenses powered up. Turrets turned. Shields rose. Fleets scrambled from nearby bases. They waited. That was enough. Then the message arrived again. It hit every frequency at the same instant. Radio, tight beam, emergency channels, even old shortwave bands that had not been used in centuries. The same calm female voice spoke in every known language at once. We gave you time. You used it to break more rules. You thought silence meant safety. It did not. The forum was your last chance to choose order. You chose chaos instead. We will not watch anymore. We will act. From this moment, any act of aggression against any species will receive a response. Any glassing of worlds, any invasion of neutral space, any use of prohibited weapons, we will answer. Not with words, not with sanctions, with force. Choose wisely. The choice is yours, but the consequences are ours to deliver. The message ended. No signature, no ambassador's name, no room for talk. Above the Yiktar capital, The dreadnought stayed another full day. Then it moved. Not fast, not dramatic. It simply drifted closer to the main orbital station. The station was a ring of steel and lights, bigger than most cities. It held the Emperor's personal fleet. Thousands of lives worked there. The dreadnought stopped just outside weapons range. Then a single thin beam lanced out. Not wide, not bright, just a needle of blue-white light. It touched one empty docking arm on the far side of the station. The arm vanished. No explosion, no fire. Just gone. Vaporized clean. The rest of the station stayed untouched. The message was clear. We can do this to anything. We choose not to. Yet. The Emperor watched from his tower. His claws shook. For the first time in his rule, he gave no broadcast, no laughter, no threats. He closed the shutters and sat in the dark. The same quiet demonstration happened elsewhere. Above a Khazari forward base, a human ship removed a single defense platform. Clean cut. Above a Selath weapons lab on a moon, another ship erased one research dome. Nothing else touched. The message spread fast. Humans did not need to destroy everything. They only needed to show they could. Panic turned to something deeper. Not just fear, understanding. The galaxy remembered now. Humans had never been weak. They had been patient. They had followed rules because it cost them little to do so. They had sat in the forum, listened to endless debates, accepted limits on their power, because the alternative was worse for everyone, including them. But patience has an end. Smaller species sent messages first. They begged for talks. They offered gifts. They promised loyalty. Human worlds did not answer. The silence stayed. Then the bigger powers tried. The Khazari sent a delegation to the edge of human space. They carried white flags and open channels. They waited 3 days. No reply. They returned empty. They voted to cancel all new rules they had forced through. They broadcast the vote live. They said they wanted the old ways back. Still no answer. The Yiktar Emperor finally spoke. His voice was low. No smile. No teeth. He said the Dominion would pull back from all occupied worlds. They would return stolen resources. They would pay reparations. He asked politely for a meeting. Any place, any time. The broadcast ended. No human response came. Days later, a single small human courier ship appeared at Kalis Prime. It did not dock at the Forum Ring. It stopped far outside. It sent one short message to the station. Prepare a neutral meeting chamber. No weapons. No large delegations. One representative from each major power. We will send one person. Come unarmed. Or do not come at all. The forum came alive again. Lights burned bright. Drones cleaned every corner. The chairman's feathers stood up straight for the first time in months. They prepared the old debating hall. They cleared the human section. They left the 73 chairs exactly as they were. On the chosen day, the courier ship returned. It carried one person, a human woman in plain gray. No uniform markings, no guards. She walked alone through the docking tube. She entered the chamber. Every delegate stood when she appeared. No one spoke. She walked to the center podium. She looked around once, then she spoke in the same calm voice from the broadcasts. We are not here to rejoin the forum. The forum failed. It failed because too many of you wanted it to fail. You wanted power without cost. You wanted peace without effort. We gave you both for a long time. You wasted them. We will not give them again. From now on, the galaxy will have order. But the order will be simple. Do not attack the weak. Do not take what is not yours. Do not use weapons that burn worlds. Break these rules, and we will respond. Not as members of your club, not as equals at your table, as enforcers. There will be no more debates about what is allowed. There will be no more votes on who gets to break the rules. You have seen what we can do. You know we will do it again if needed. Go home, tell your leaders, tell your people. The time of pretending is over. The time of consequences has begun. She stopped. She looked at every face in the room. Then she turned and walked out. No one followed her this time. The doors closed behind her. The human ship left Kalis Prime. It jumped away. No one tried to follow. The delegates sat in silence for a long time. Then slowly, they started to leave. One by one, they returned to their worlds. They carried the message home. The forum kept turning, but it was different now. Smaller. No one pretended it had real power anymore. The galaxy watched the stars with new eyes. Ships moved carefully. Borders stayed calm. Worlds rebuilt what was broken. No one tested the new rules. Not yet. And somewhere in the dark, human fleets waited, silent, patient, ready. They had vacated the forum, but they had never left the galaxy. They had only stopped pretending to be part of the game. Now they wrote the rules, and everyone else learned to live with them.